Hello there and welcome to another episode of Apple a Day. Today I'm going to show you how to use a rig in AppleMotion in order to create a multiple choice quiz template, which can be used in Final Cut Pro. What you see playing right now is the template that we're going to create. This is the same kind of quiz that you might see maybe on a movie screen before the previews would start. It'll show you a question with 4 answers and slowly reveal the wrong answers until only the correct answer remains. This is a very simple version without bells and whistles. Perhaps you can add a countdown timer and maybe a more interesting animation when the correct answer is revealed. But the template does have published parameters letting you change the question and the answers, of course. The most ambitious part of this tutorial is going to be creating this pop-up menu, which lets you choose the position of the correct answer and the reveal sequence of the wrong answers. And you can see we've got every permutation there. A, B, C, and D represents the position of the correct answer, and the numbers represent the order of the reveal of the wrong answers. Just a word of warning, this tutorial is somewhat time-consuming and can get confusing and complicated. I do go through some of these sections rather quickly, so be ready to hit that pause button whenever you need to. Good luck, and let's get to it. Let's make a quiz template. The first thing you need to do is download the PSD template file, which I've supplied as a DropBox link in the description below. This PSD layered file contains the elements of the quiz background. You can certainly create them using basic shapes in Motion, but it'll save some time having them already available. So I've already got a project open. It's a standard 1920 by 1080 HD project. So I'm going to drag that quiz.psd file onto the project, and I'm going to hold it until the menu appears, and I'm going to select Import All Layers. And that imports every single layer in the PSD file. So immediately I'm going to make a text layer for the question text. I'm going to grab the text tool and just click and drag. I'm just going to put in question text. I'm going to go over to the inspector and select the font and the size. There we go. So I got Helvetica medium condensed. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Something like that is good. And I'm going to center it vertically. And I'm just going to adjust these handles. Actually, they look like they're already where I want them to be. So something like that will work. So after I create the text, I'm going to hold the Shift key down and select the question back layer, which is this pink semicircle here. And I'm going to right click and group them together. And I'm going to rename this group question. I'm going to select all 4 of these answer layers, correct, wrong 1, wrong 2, and wrong 3. And I'm going to right click and select a group and rename the group to answers. With the playhead at the beginning, I'm going to make another text box and I'm going to position it roughly over one of the answer backgrounds. I'm going to call this correct answer. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I believe this should move over a little bit more. I'm going to center it vertically. So with the correct answer selected, I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to rename it to wrong answer 1. I'm going to move it down about there and change the text to read wrong 1 and move it down just above the wrong 1 background. I'm going to duplicate it again. I'm going to do the same thing for the wrong answer number 2 and the wrong answer number 3. So rename this to wrong answer 2. Move it down above wrong 2. And grab it and move it down. Change the text so it reads wrong 2. And duplicate it one last time for the final wrong answer, which is wrong 3. Move it above the wrong 3 background. Move the text down and change it to wrong 3. All right, so now we need to group these together. So I'm going to just take the correct background and the correct answer, group them, and I'm going to rename the group to correct answer. I'm going to do the same thing for the wrong answer 1 and the wrong 1 background. I'm going to rename it to wrong answer 1 and do the same thing for 2. And the same for the wrong answer number 3. Okay, so these layers here, A, B, C, and D, These are going to be used as placeholders for the vertical positions of each answer. This is going to become apparent later on, so I'm not going to go into too much detail right now. Even though these placeholder graphics are actually off screen, we never need to actually display them, so I'm just going to uncheck them all and hide them. Okay, so before we get into the rigging, I'm going to take a moment to fancy it up a little bit and animate the question and the answers moving on screen. There are many ways to do this using behaviors, but every time I try that, I'm never happy with the results. I never seem to get the right ease in and ease out that I want. So we're going to do this with keyframes where we have more control over the easing in and easing out. So I'm going to select the question group, and I'm going to move the playhead to frame number 20, and I'm going to go to the inspector, properties, and the X position, and I'm going to add a keyframe. I'm going to move the playhead to the beginning, I'm going to add another keyframe to X, and I'm going to move this question group right off screen. And I did that simply by dragging on the X parameter in the transform properties of the inspector. So I don't have my keyframe editor showing, and if I click on this little icon over on the far right, if you hover over it, it'll tell you, it says show hide keyframe editor. So I'm going to click on that to bring that up. And I'm going to click on the little magnifier here to zoom in. And you can see it's already got a pretty smooth curve for the ease in and ease out. It's not bad. I think it stops a little abruptly for my liking. So I'm just going to click on the last keyframe, and it's already a Bezier. And if yours is not a Bezier, you can just right click on the keyframe itself and change the interpolation to Bezier. What I want to do is just grab this handle, and I'm going to hold the shift key down to lock it in the horizontal plane. I'm dragging this all the way over. So we get a nice smooth deceleration here. And then I just have to fix the incoming keyframe so that it's faster. It's going to just make a more natural curve. So something like that. So it's going to come in quick and slow down. And by doing that, you get a nice smooth animation. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing now for the other side with the answers sliding onto the screen. So I'm going to move the playhead back to frame number 20. I'm going to select the answers group, which contains all of the answers. I'm going to add a keyframe on X, and then go back to the beginning of the timeline and add another keyframe on X, and I'm going to slide those off screen to the right. I'm going to do the same thing with the keyframe. I'm going to hold the shift key down and drag that handle all the way to the left, and grab the first keyframe and make it a cleaner, more natural curve. And if we play this back, they should come on more or less the same way, the answers and the question. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I love that slow deceleration. Okay, so now that that's done, let's get to the fun stuff. So the way these questions usually work is that the wrong answers are removed over time. So roughly 5 or 6 seconds after the question and the answers appear on screen, one of the wrong answers is removed. And then say another 5 seconds later, the second wrong answer, and then of course the third wrong answer is removed, and simultaneously the correct answer is revealed. So let's do that animation right now and get it all out of the way. Let's say we want to remove the first wrong answer at the 5-second mark. So I'm going to move my playhead to 5 seconds, and I'm going to select the wrong answer 1 group, add a keyframe to the X position. Okay, I'm going to move ahead 10 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to add another keyframe to the X position, and I'm going to slide this wrong answer off screen just by clicking and dragging in the X coordinate. To get a better handle on your keyframes, you can press this icon on the far right where it says auto scale vertically to fit the curves. So that's what I just did. Now I can see the keyframe animations a little bit clearer. So I'm going to click on the first keyframe. I'm going to smooth it out at the beginning. I want it to accelerate very slowly, and then it'll fly off screen at the very end. So if we play that, starts moving slow, and then it just takes off. Perfect. So now I don't want to have to recreate this exactly for the other wrong answers. So I'm just going to select my animation, which is just these 2 keyframes. I'm going to press Command C to copy it. I'm going to jump ahead to the 9-second mark. So at 9 seconds, I'm going to select wrong answer number 2, Command V to paste in my animation. And then I'm going to do the same thing for wrong number 3 at the 13-second mark. Wrong answer 3 is selected, so Command V to paste, and there we go. So if I scrub the playhead, you'll see wrong 1 goes away, wrong 2, and then wrong 3. And what has to happen when wrong 3 is removed off the screen, then we should be showing the correct answer roughly at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the playhead to halfway through that transition. So wrong 3 starts going off screen at 13 seconds. So I'm going to just move this to 13:05, 5 frames in from that. I'm going to select the correct answer and open up that disclosure triangle to show the contents of that correct answer group. And I'm going to select the correct background layer. And under filters, I'm going to go into color and I'm going to choose colorize because I just want to change the color of that background to reveal it as the correct answer. And what I also want to do with colorize selected, I want to mark the endpoint to be right at 13:05 because there's no reason to have this colorize layer on prior to this. So I did that by pressing the I key to mark the endpoint. And then with colorize selected, I'm going to go over to the inspector tab with the filter selected. It's already showing. And I'm going to add a keyframe to the mix property. And I'm just going to set that to 0. And then I'm going to move forward 10 frames to the 13-second and 15-frame mark. I'm going to add another keyframe, and I'm going to set the mix to 100. So in effect, it will change the color from the default purple to, well, right now it's kind of a brownie color, but I want to change that. I'm going to click on the remap white to color. Green, actually. I think a dark green. Green for correct. And that looks pretty good. We just need something to show the difference. I may not have the best color scheme going here, but it'll work for our purposes. So once we reveal the correct answer, we need to leave it on screen for a few seconds before we remove it and the question from the screen. So at the 18-second mark, I'm going to select the question. I'm going to add another keyframe to the X parameter. And I can do the same thing for answers while we're here. Add a keyframe to the X parameter for answers. Then I'm going to jump ahead 20 frames. Because we took 20 frames to bring this on screen, we should take 20 to remove it. There we go. I'm going to add another keyframe under answers and another one under question. And since we're on question now, let's slide that off screen. And go down to answers and slide that off screen as well. So that's the full length of our quiz. So let's go from that last frame and add maybe 5 frames to it. Now let's go 18:18. So that's how long we want this project to be. So I'm just going to hit Command J to edit our project. It's at 30 seconds. So I'm going to change that to 18:18 and hit return. And now our project will end. And if you're in Final Cut Pro, that's where it ends. And then if you had another one right after this. So now that that's all set up and the animations are in place, how the heck do we change where the correct answer is and the reveal sequence of the wrong answers? And that's where these placeholders, A, B, C, and D, this is where they come into play. We use them for the vertical position for the correct answer and the wrong answers. I'm going to select the correct answer, and under the Y parameter on the drop-down arrow, I am going to click on it and choose Add Parameter Behavior, and then go down and select Link. A, B, C, and D, these represent the physical positions on screen. This, right now, the way you're looking at it, this is position A, this is position B, and this is C, and this is D. So A is always the top. So I'm going to drag A onto the correct answer, because right now it's in position A. So what I'm doing is setting up the default position for each one of these answers. And then I'm going to go down to wrong answer number 1. I'm going to add a parameter behavior to Y, and choose link again. And here I'm going to drag on B because it's in the second position. I'm going to do the same thing for wrong answer number 2. And that's in C. Drag over C. And the same thing for wrong answer number 3. And that is in D. So now those parameter behaviors are set up for every single answer, the correct answer and the 3 wrong ones, and they're all defaulted to their correct vertical positions on screen, A, B, C, or D. So here's where it gets tricky. In order to use these positions and change them around, we need to create a rig, which is then published so that Final Cut Pro is able to make the necessary changes simply. All the complexity is going to be happening on the motion side, but it should be easy for you to make these changes and choose the correct answer and the reveal sequence for the wrong answers with relative ease. And we're going to do that just by having a pop-up menu. So we need to create that. So let's make our new rig. So under Add Object, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to add a new rig. And I'm going to rename this to Answers. And then inside this rig, I'm going to add a pop-up. So over on the left-hand side under Inspector with Rig selected, I'm going to hit the plus pop-up. And I'm going to rename this pop-up to Answer Sequence. And then we need to set up a whole bunch of answer sequences. So this is a little tricky and it's going to take a little bit of time, but let's rename that first one. And here's the naming convention that I'm going to use. I'm going to type in A for the position to represent the correct answer is in position A, which is the top. And then I'm going to do a hyphen, and then I'm going to play out the sequence of wrong answers. So it's going to reveal in this order, wrong answer number 1, and then 2, and then 3. And I'll show you how we do this in a minute, but I'm just going to set these up. We're going to rename the second item that it created by default, the snapshot 2. I'm going to rename that to A, and then 1, 3, 2. So you see we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, and then we'll do a third permutation. It'll be A, 2, 1, 3, and then we'll add another one, A, 2, 3, 1, and then A, 3, 1, 2, and then finally A, 3, 2, 1. So that's every permutation. There's 6 of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. So I know it's a pain, but we're going to cover this for every single possible permutation. So now, make sure the bottom one is selected, because every time you add a new one, it adds it right after the current selection. So now we're going to go to B. So it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be B, 1, 2, 3. So again, the B represents the correct answer, which is in position B, which is going to be the second item now. And then, of course, the 1, 2, 3 represents wrong 1, wrong 2, and wrong 3. Okay, so I'm going to set up the same sequence for B, C, and D. So B is going to have the same sequence numbers after it. So I'm going to just do that real quick right now. Okay, so we got every possible combination. The correct answer being in the A position, the correct answer being in the B position, and then C, and then D. And again, A is top, B is second, C is third, D is fourth. Not to be confused with wrong 1, wrong 2, and 3, which is what these numbers represent. So with that done, we now have to associate this pop-up to the positions of the answers. And that's where we're going to use these placeholders that I already set up. So we've already added the link parameter behaviors to the correct answer and each of the wrong answers. So they're ready to go. So what we need to do now is associate them to this rig, to this answer sequence pop-up in the answers rig. Now, it's also important, we need to select these in reverse order because the way it shows them in the rig, the last one you add is on the top. We want correct answer to be on the top, therefore we have to select it last. So I'm going to go down here to the link for the wrong answer number 3. So where we see it in the source object in the behaviors tab of the inspector, I'm going to click on the drop down arrow and I'm going to add to rig, the answers rig, add to answer sequence. We're not going to add a new rig or a new element here. We're going to add it to the existing answer sequence pop-up. And I'm going to do the same thing for the link for the wrong answer number 2. Add to rig, answers, add to answer sequence, and the same thing for the link for wrong answer number 1. And for the correct answer. So now it's time to start populating these positions. So if I go up to the answer sequence, and you can see we've got 4 items in there. Each of these source objects refers to the answers in the order that you see them by default. So the first one is always going to be the correct answer. The second one is always going to refer to wrong 1. The third one is going to refer to wrong 2. And the fourth one is going to refer to wrong 3. That's always going to be the way. No matter what position they're in, that's what these are going to represent. Correct answer, wrong 1, wrong 2, and wrong 3. And then A, B, and C, and D represent vertical position that I'm going to move them to. So it's a little confusing, but we'll get through it. So I'm going to select A, 1, 2, 3. And this is the default setting. So A, meaning the correct answer is in position A, so which is right here, which is where it is. And then wrong 1, wrong 2, and wrong 3 should be in B, C, and D, which is where they are. So that one's ready to go. So we've got 1 down, and let's see, what are these? 6 times 4, there's 23 left. So we'll go to A132, which is the next sequence permutation. And so A is already correct. So wrong number 1, which is represented by this 1 here, is in position B, which is the first item in this sequence, which is B. Wrong 1 is already in B. So the next item is wrong 3, okay? And 3 needs to be in position C. So this is wrong 3, it's at the bottom. So I need to drag over C into here. And wrong 3 just moved. Now you can't see it because it's behind wrong 2. So wrong 2, which is here, which again, this one is wrong 2. Remember, correct answer, wrong 1, wrong 2, and wrong 3. So this is wrong 2. Wrong 2 needs to be in position D because it's the last one. B, C, D. So we drag D over, and there we go. So I'm going to go over each one of these very slowly until you get the hang of it, because it's freaking confusing to me too. I don't know if I went down the wrong path with this, if there's an easier way, but I do software development too, so maybe this is the geek in me trying to be overly complex. But it does work, trust me. And here you can see what we did. So if we go to sequence A, 1, 2, 3, correct answers up top, and we got wrong 1, wrong 2, and wrong 3. And if we go to sequence 1, 3, 2, we can see them change, 1, 3, 2. Now, let me scrub through this and you can see the difference. So if I go to, again, 1, 2, 3, and I scrub through the timeline, you'll see them go away in order 1, 2, and 3. Now, if I switch this to 1, 3, 2, see that? So this is great for if you're doing a video of a quiz. You can see these, and they're not always going to be in the same sequence, and you don't have to do a lot of work to change the sequence. I mean, there's this work in setting it up, of course, but then when you're in Final Cut, as long as you have your template ready to go, and you like the way it looks, etc., you can just use this and build your list of questions and answers with different sequence types and different positions for the correct answer. Making this template makes that a heck of a lot easier. So let's move on to the third one. And this is A213. So again, A is already in the right spot, but 2, wrong answer number 2, which is indicated by here, the third item. Correct answer, wrong 1, wrong 2. So wrong 2 is in the B position, so let's bring that over to B. And wrong 1, which is this guy here, is in the C position. So let's bring over C. And then wrong 3 is in the D position, which is where it should be by default. So there we go. You can always tell if you look over at the text, wrong 2, wrong 1, wrong 3, 2, 1, 3. We can do the same thing for the next one. A is already in the correct spot. 2 should be in B. And 3 should be in C. So that's this guy here. And 1 should be in D. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And again, the next one, 3, 1, 2. So 3, which is down here, is in B. And number 1, which is here, is in C. And 2, which is this guy, is in D. And to reiterate one more time, if the correct answer is A, the 3 wrong answers are always going to be in position B, C, and D. And that's what's confusing. You have to do this translation between the number of their particular wrong answer versus the physical position where you want it to be. So let's go to 3, 2, 1. And again, A is already set. And 3 is in position B. And 2 is in position C. And 1 is in position D. So 3, 2, 1. Look at that. So we're already done A. So now let's go to B. B, 1, 2, 3. So we're starting over again. Now the correct answer is moved from A to B. So we're going to drag B over to the first item, which is the correct answer. And now it bumped it down. So now instead of the sequence being B, C, D, it's actually going to be A, C, D, because A up top, which is the first item, and then the correct answer is in B, so it's going to be C and D. Those are the only 3 options available. So now wrong answer 1 needs to go into position A. So I'm going to drag A over to wrong answer 1, and wrong answer 2 and wrong answer 3 are in C and D, which is where they already are by default. So we'll leave that alone. I'm going to move this to B132, and again, position B into the correct answer, and position A into wrong answer number 1, and into wrong answer number 3, that's position C, and wrong answer number 2, which is here, that is going to be position D. So we got 1, 3, 2, perfect, which matches the sequence here. Oh, and just to show you, if we scrub the timeline, you'll see what happens. Wrong 1 is revealed, wrong 2, and then wrong 3, and the correct answer. Hopefully you can see where we're going with this, and it's going to take a few more minutes to finish this. So 132 is done. We'll go to 213, and if you already got this and figured it out, you can certainly fast forward to where I'm finished this part of it. But I'm going to go through it one by one, just in case anybody's having trouble following along, because it is a little confusing. Okay, so 213 is next. So again, I'm going to change the correct answer to be B, and wrong answer number 2, which is here, is going to be position A. And wrong answer number 1 is going to be position C. And then D is already the wrong answer number 3. So 213, 213, 231, B over to the correct answer, A over to number 2, C over to number 3, and D over to number 1. So we got 231, 231. And again, that's how you can test, right? The numerical sequence of these wrong answers need to be the same numbers as you see here. That's why there's this disconnect between the numbers being numeric and the positions being alphabetic. I originally did it where they were both numbers, and wow, that was really confusing. So 231 is looking good. We'll go to 312, and again, it's B is the correct answer, and number 3 is going to go into position A, and wrong number 1 is going to be position C, and wrong number 2 is going to be position D. So it should be 312, and it is 312. The final one for B, it's 321. So again, B goes into the correct answer. And wrong answer 3 is going to be in position A. Wrong answer 2 is going to be position, oops. If you ever do that, you click out of it, and I've selected placeholder B by accident, just go back up to the sequence, and it should be right where you left off. Wrong answer number 2, which is here, and that's going to be position C. And wrong answer number 1, which is here, is going to be position D. So 321, 321. And now we go to C. So where we bring C over to the correct answer. So now the sequence for the wrong answers is going to be, it was BCD, and then it was ACD, and now it's going to be ABD. So A, B, and then C is where the correct answer is, and then D. In this example, 1, wrong answer 1 is going to be A. Wrong answer 2 is going to be B. And wrong answer 3 is going to be D. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, C, 1, 3, 2. So drag over C to the correct answer. And wrong answer 1 is in position A. And wrong answer 3 is in position B. And wrong answer 2 is in position D. So 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. 2, 1, 3 will do now. Bring in C over to the correct answer. Wrong answer 2 is in position A. Wrong answer 1 is in position B. And wrong answer 3 is in position D. So 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. We'll go to C, 2, 3, 1. We'll drag over C to the correct answer. And wrong answer 2 is in position A. And wrong answer 3 is in position B. And wrong answer 1 is in position D. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. We'll go to C, 3, 1, 2. Drag over C to the correct answer. Wrong answer 3 is in position A. Wrong answer 1 is in position B. And wrong answer 2 is in position D. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, last one for C, 3, 2, 1. We'll drag over C to the correct answer. So wrong answer 3 is in position A. Wrong answer 2 is in position B. And wrong answer 1 is in position D. So 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So now we're in D, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to take in D, drag it onto the correct answer. And then for wrong answer 1, that's in position A. Wrong answer 2 is in position B. And wrong answer 3 is in position C. So wrong 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2. So bring D over. Correct answer. A goes into wrong answer 1. B goes into wrong answer 3. And C goes into wrong answer 2. So it should be 1, 3, 2. 1, 3, 2. So bring over D again to the correct answer. And wrong answer 2 is going to be in position A. Wrong answer 1 is going to be position B. And wrong answer 3 is going to be position C. 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. And now 2, 3, 1. Bring over D to the correct answer. Wrong answer 2 is in position A. Wrong answer 3 is in position B. And wrong answer 1 is in position C. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, 2 more to go. 3, 1, 2, we're going to drag D over to the correct answer. And for wrong answer 3, that is in position A. For wrong answer 1, position B. And for wrong answer 2, that is in position C. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And the last one, 3, 2, 1. Same thing, bring D over to the correct answer. Wrong answer 3 is in position A. Wrong answer 2 is in position B. And wrong answer 1 is in position C. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Wow, that is finished. What a pain that was, but it's done. And hopefully everybody got through this successfully. It is somewhat confusing, but once you do it, trust me, you'll appreciate the results, especially if you actually need to do something like this for one of your clients. If they need a video of a quiz and you want to be able to make it easy to change, this effort you put in, the sweat of confusion, it's going to be worth your while. So there's only a few things left to do to make this usable. We have to publish this rig, and we also have to publish the question and answer text so that they can be edited in Final Cut Pro. So select the answer sequence pop-up, which I already have selected. And on the top element in here where it says answer sequence, this is the actual pop-up. Oh, first we need to change this back to 1, 2, 3. Because when you bring it into Final Cut Pro, you want this to be on the default first setting. You don't want it to be starting at the bottom. So we'll make it A, 1, 2, 3. That's the default setting. And we're going to choose this drop-down arrow here, and we're going to publish it. So now the answer sequence pop-up menu will be visible in Final Cut Pro. Next thing we need to do is allow users to edit the text. So I'm going to select the question text and go to the text tab of the inspector. And down at the bottom where we have the text, I'm going to click on that drop-down and publish that. You can do the same thing for each answer. So the correct answer text, click on the arrow, select publish, and for the wrong answer, wrong number 1, I'm going to publish that as well. Wrong number 2, and wrong number 3. So the question, the correct answer, and the 3 wrong answers, and the drop-down menu to control the sequence have all been published. So they're all visible in Final Cut Pro. So the last thing we need to do before we save this template is to edit the names of the published parameters so it's a little bit easier to understand for the user. So I'm just going to hit Command J to bring up the project settings. Go over to Project, and you can see our published parameters right here. We had already named the answer sequence by the name of the pop-up within the rig, so that's good as is. But you can see that the question and the answers, they're named just text, so we need to change those. So just double click on the word text to change the labels. So I'm going to change this one to question and this one to correct answer and this one to wrong answer 1. And as you can imagine, wrong answer 2, and wrong answer 3. Now it's time to save this template. I made the mistake of not creating it as a template initially, so I'm just going to go under the File menu and select Convert Project to Generator. Now if I save this, I'm going to call this Quiz Multiple Choice. And I'm going to give it a category. I'm going to make a new category because I don't have one in there yet. I'm going to call it Apple Day. Of course, you can call it whatever you like. So now I've got this template showing up in my Apple a Day category. I am going to hit Publish. That's it. So if I move over to Final Cut Pro, which I already have running, and you can see I've got Apple a Day, which is the category that I just made, and there's my quiz template, Quiz Multiple Choice. I'm going to click on that and drag it into my project timeline. And if I scrub through it, you can see that it plays the sequence. So I'm going to go over on the top right in my inspector area. I'm going to click on the generator inspector. And here are all of my published parameters. We've got the question, the correct answer, or the wrong answer 1, 2, and 3, and of course the answer sequence. So I can just click on this answer sequence, and there you have all of our sequence permutations ready to select. So if I switched this over to, say I want C to be the correct answer, and I wanted to play out 2, 1, and 3, there you go. So I'm going to enter my first question. The MacBook Pro M2 Max can be upgraded to, and the correct answer, I'll make it 96 gigabytes. Wrong answer 1, 128 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes, and we'll do a joke one, 64K. So I'm just going to move the playhead out a little bit so we can see it, and there you go. So what we want to do, if I scrub this, it's showing 1, 2, 3 in order right underneath the correct answer, which is answer A, the very top position. But I want to change that. So let's go up to the answer sequence pop-up. Let's say we want C to be the right answer, and we're going to do a reveal sequence of 2, 3, 1. Let me just go back a little bit. I'm going to add another one and put the question text in. Actually, I'm going to move my playhead over so I can see it. Change the question text to which of these is not a video editor. The correct answer is going to be AppleMotion. Wrong answer number 1 will be DaVinci Resolve. Wrong answer number 2, Final Cut Pro. And wrong answer number 3, iMovie. And we'll do one more. How much does the Pro Display XDR cost in US dollars? And the correct answer will be $49.99. The incorrect answer, number 1, can be $39.99, $44.99, and we'll make the third wrong answer $1 million. Actually, let me just put some commas in here so it's a little bit easier to read. So now let's make the correct answer be in position D, and we're going to go in order of, let's see, 1, 3, 2. I don't think I didn't change the reveal sequence in the second quiz, so I'm just going to make that the correct answer is A, but I'll do A231. So if I play this back, I'm going to play it back a little bit faster. So there you have it. Now we have a very usable, useful, real-world quiz template that you can use, that you can create in Motion and use in Final Cut Pro. Very useful if you have to create a quiz for one of your customers, or just for yourself for fun. I mean, you could make a 1-hour video with a whole bunch of these questions just back to back and throw it on in the background when you're entertaining. Just something to have. Obviously, you could change the look of this and do whatever you like. What's important here is the takeaway from how you can use a rig to change the positions of items, whether you do it by using that link parameter behavior or you put in the absolute values, which is what I was originally going to do in this tutorial. There's many ways to do it. Hopefully you got something out of this, at least how you would use rigs for, whatever purpose. I'm going to be doing more videos on rigs in the future. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you, as always, for watching. My name is John Martins. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Apple a Day.